Greetings, Internet. I'm Danny Danger, and I just went to see I was mixing Danny Danger and the X-Men. I came up with the Dex-Men. To me, my Dex-Men? I tried. Greetings, Internet. I'm Danny Danger, and last night I went to see X-Men Days of Future Past. I really enjoyed it on the whole. I liked it almost as much as I liked First Class. First Class was very effective at illustrating the hope and optimism in the 60s. This is illustrated by Charles Xavier and how excited he is to be building a new mutant team that's going to essentially shape the future of mutant kind. Days of Future Past happens in the 70s, in the era of Vietnam, in the Kennedy assassination, and it does a really good job of interlocking these things with the evolution of the mutant social climate. Having seen the second movie lends depth to the first movie and makes it more enjoyable to watch as well. So it was a successful sequel. Nailed it. This movie also did a really good job of using Charles Xavier to illustrate the attitude of the time. Charles is very apathetic, he's depressed, he's lost a lot of people that he loves, and this sort of mirrors the attitude of the 70s of disillusionment and being a little jaded following all that hippy-dippy stuff in the 60s. Charles and Eric once again have a lot of really good chemistry in this film, but there's a lot more tension in their relationship, which provides an awesome contrast because in the future, they're uniting together to save all of mutant kind. And that's a theme from the comic books that I really liked seeing on the big screen. Oh my God, you guys, J-Law. She's perfect. I really love that this story focused so much on Mystique. She is a strong, willful, determined character who takes the fate of mutant kind into her own hands more often than she's given credit for. Both her character and the actress that played her are strong enough to support this story. One of my favorite J-Law triumphs in this movie started with the original X-Men trilogy, and it's the way that Mystique moves. There's a very signature movement to it that is beautiful and absolutely enthralling to watch, and I was really impressed with it as always. When the costume design for Quicksilver was first released, I was a little skeptical. I thought it looked goofy. But with the time placement and Evan Peters and the way he pulled it off, I would say that they nailed it and I was wrong. It was incredible. He kind of won this movie for me. He wins all of the smartass sarcastic points for all of the lifetimes. And the use of Jim Croce's time in a bottle, oh my God, I laughed so hard, I think I squirted Dr. Pepper out of my nose. For movie franchise fans, be sure to note that Wanda and Pietro in this universe are completely different and are from a different continuity than the Wanda and Pietro that we saw at the end of Captain America: Winter Soldier. There is one thing about the ending that I really want to talk about, but I think it's a spoiler, so if you haven't seen the movie, now might be a mute time. One of the themes of the movie is that you can go back in time and change your past. However, the implication that Wolverine, no matter what he does, cannot escape the Weapon X program blew my mind. Another thing about this ending that I thought was really cool was the way Magneto used his powers to put metal into Logan, as opposed to the frequent comic book used image of Magneto using his powers to pull the adamantium out of Logan. Very cool contrast. Spoilers are done. Having seen the whole movie, I think that I can say with some confidence that I am sick of Wolverine. And if I'm telling you that I'm sick of a shirtless, sweaty Hugh Jackman, you've really, really overdone it. Kitty Pryde is actually the character who goes back in time in the comic Days of Future Past. And I really would have much preferred to see her going back instead of Wolverine. Or hell, even her going back with Wolverine would have been more interesting. With the different themes that are presented in X-Men stories about mutants versus humans and acceptance, the X-Men titles have always been very ahead of their time in terms of featuring very diverse and unique characters. So why then is this one franchise completely obsessed with promoting only one character when they have such a slew of interesting characters to choose from? An X-Men team led by Nightcrawler? Or Storm, played by someone other than Halle Berry, please? Please? If Kitty Pryde had led this movie, we might have actually gotten a little bit more screen time for one of my favorite X-Men, Colossus. I'm excited to go back and rewatch the scenes of all the students at the Xavier School because I'd like to see if they threw in any younger characters or smaller characters that I can recognize. If I go back and I watch that scene and there's not a kid with a pink mohawk and glasses wearing a Magneto Was Right shirt, I am going to demand that it be refilmed. Yep. Whatever. I want it. I want my Quentin Quire and I want him now. Other characters that I really enjoyed actually seeing: Bishop. I loved seeing Bishop. Another character that I would really have liked to have seen in this movie: Magic. On the whole, I really enjoyed this movie. I'll definitely be buying it, adding it to my DVD collection, and I'll probably watch it about as much as I watched First Class. I think First Class on the whole was a better movie because it just introduced a lot of new and original characters instead of sort of using Wolverine as a crutch, which I think was this film's only real downfall. Have you seen the movie? What did you think? Tell me down below in the comments. This is my very first ever movie review, so if you have any tips, any hints, anything that you'd like me to talk about in future movie reviews, tell me. No, really, tell me how to do this. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We talk about all things across the wide expanse of the Geekoverse: games, costumes, tabletop games, and of course, comic books. A special thanks as always goes out to Austin Books and Comics for not making us feel too bad that we saw the movie before we read the book.